Hey there, and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Recap, where I share with you 5 stories of interest for asylum seekers and those who want to stay updated on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
a new study finds immigration boosts jobs and wages for U.S. workers, aiding labor-short industries. Unauthorized immigrants in the U.S. increase slightly with shifting origin countries. African students face higher student visa denial rates, sparking calls for investigation. A report shows naturalized citizens make up a significant portion of U.S. immigrants, with diverse origins. A Supreme Court ruling may benefit immigrants, even with disastrous effects elsewhere.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, let's get to the news. First,
a new study from the National Bureau of Economic Research finds that increased immigration to the United States correlates with job growth and higher wages for American workers. Economists analyzed data from 2000 to 2019, during which the immigrant population grew by 13.2 million. Their research shows that immigration did not displace United States-born workers or reduce their wages. Instead, it was associated with increased employment rates and wage increases, particularly for less educated native workers. The study suggests that immigrants often complement rather than compete with native workers, boosting productivity and economic activity. For every 10% increase in immigration, wages for United States-born workers rose by 0.1 to 0.3%. The findings support the idea that expanding legal immigration could significantly benefit industries facing grave labor shortages, such as construction, hospitality, and healthcare.
And up next for update number 2.
The Migration Policy Institute estimates in a new study that the unauthorized immigrant population in the United States was 11.3 million as of mid-2022, up slightly from 11.2 million in 2021 and 11.0 million in 2019. While Mexico remains the top origin country, its share has decreased from 64% in 2007 to 45% in 2022. Other major source countries include those in Central and South America, as well as India, the Philippines, and China. The data reflects shifting migration patterns, with net increases from South American countries outpacing those from Guatemala and Honduras. These traditional origin countries have repatriation agreements, making their nationals more likely to be removed by U.S. authorities. The changing demographics of unauthorized immigrants highlight evolving trends in global migration and U.S. immigration enforcement practices.
All right, it's time for our third immigration update.
New data from the U.S. Department of State reveals that African students face significantly higher denial rates for F1 student visas compared to other regions. From 2015 to 2023, African countries dominated the list of nations, with average denial rates exceeding 60%. Immigration experts call for an investigation into the visa process and embassy policies in Africa. The State Department attributes denials to Section 214B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which requires proof of intent to leave the U.S. after studies. Despite a 2021 policy update aimed at easing visa requirements, denial rates for African students have continued to rise. Experts advocate for greater transparency in the denial process, updates to immigration laws, and allowing foreign students to have dual intent. The high denial rates raise concerns about potential bias and the need for a more modern approach to student visas.
By the way, if you want to stay updated on asylum and immigration reform news, then make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Okay, moving on, we're ready for update number 4.
A new report sheds light on the place of naturalized U.S. citizens in American society. Naturalized citizens make up a significant portion of the United States immigrant population, with 24.5 million as of 2022. The naturalization process, which grants immigrants full citizenship rights, saw 878,500 new citizens in fiscal year 2023. This represents a slight decline from the previous year, but remains higher than pre-pandemic levels. Mexico, India, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic, and Cuba are the top countries of origin for new citizens. California, Texas, Florida, and New York house half of all newly naturalized citizens. Naturalized citizens tend to be older and more educated than non-citizen immigrants, with better economic outcomes. The Biden administration has implemented policies to streamline the naturalization process, including reducing processing times and expanding fee waivers. Military service continues to offer an expedited path to citizenship.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
The Supreme Court's recent decision in the Loper Bright Enterprises case overturned the so-called Chevron deference doctrine. potentially reshaping federal agency operations. While the ruling may negatively impact environmental and consumer protections, its effects on immigration are mixed. The decision could allow courts to overturn unfavorable agency decisions more readily, benefiting immigrants in removal proceedings or seeking benefits. However, it may also endanger programs that provide important protections. The ruling emphasizes courts' role in determining statutory meaning, potentially leveling the playing field between agencies and challengers. Critics argue this represents a judicial power grab from specialized executive agencies. The decision is expected to trigger numerous lawsuits against agencies, which could prove advantageous for some immigrants. Ultimately, the impact on immigration policy will depend on how courts interpret and apply the new standard in future cases.
And that concludes this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an Asylum Strategy Session so that we can assist you in securing your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.